Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Mike Philibert here. I wanted to give you my book review. I just finished reading this book here and reviewing it. It's called Ending Human Trafficking. Here's the subtitle, A Handbook of Strategies for the Church Today. The review, the printed version of the review, I actually have a link of in the description. So let me just read it to you and I'll add a little bit to it as I do this live stream. It's a difficult topic for Americans and American Christians to get their minds around. We've been accustomed to thinking of slavery as some soiling blemish on our national past that we finally fixed by war and proclamation. Yet the stark reality is that enslavement has been a deep part of human history all along and is still alive and well in the present. It's economic-based or ethnic-based or gender-based, but it's always about power and production and profitability. And it is a problem in our neck of the woods as well as globally. Yet there are significant approaches that churches can take to make a difference. To help, a new 224-page paperback has arrived as a guide for those desiring to address modern forms of slavery, Ending Human Trafficking, a handbook of strategies for the church today. This manual is compiled by Shane Moore, author, editor, and activist, Sandra Morgan, director of the Global Center for Women and Justice at Vanguard University, and Kimberly McOwen Yim, co-founder and director of the SOCO Institute. The authors wrote the book to, and here I'm going to have a bunch of quotes, to inform a collaborative and cohesive biblical response in our churches, nonprofit organizations, and ministry efforts. They aim to educate and assist readers and church leadership in discerning what part of it you can build collaboratively with your greater community. All that was on page 3. It is a valuable and usable resource that steers away from the potholes and pitfalls into being better at tackling this significant multi-billion-dollar industry. Human trafficking, whether it is labor or domestic or sex, has shackled well over 25 million people in our day. The book revolves around 6 P's, prevention, protection, prosecution, partnership, policy, and prayer. As it works through each principle in detail, the writers explain what most churches and nonprofits can honestly and honorably do and what they must avoid. Most of the details are practical. Many of them seem organic in that lots of churches are already doing some version of them. As the authors discuss prevention as an example, they're clear about its significance. Quote, focusing primarily on prevention is the only way to end human trafficking and modern slavery, end of quote, page 42. They then develop the particulars of prevention that are doable. Each chapter is interspersed with real-life examples and assessments by others who have been engaged with ending human trafficking. For example, like on this page, you see how this little break-in section is here? It goes on for several pages. Prosecution case study. It's really good. I appreciated how practical the volume is, not just that it provides doable steps and strategies, but also how it lives in the real world. For instance, the authors recognize that not every church has to have a separate ministry addressing human trafficking, but in providing information and language around the problem, we hope to help leaders see strategic ways their church may already be addressing this problem, page 152. That is a sane recognition and scores big with me. I was also grateful for how the writers promote patience when talking about survivors healing and recovering. They note that their healing takes time, quote, longer than emotions last. That was a wise statement. In fact, they correctly observe that justice, quote, takes time, and this is justice work. Oh, that's on page 127. And here's the addition. They go on to say this. Let me read this. We do not always get to see the fullness of justice at work in individual cases, just as we do not always see the fullness of justice in other areas, although we recognize God is still at work here on earth. We will not always see the problem being remedied when law enforcement is behind the scenes building a case. We have to trust that the authority given to them is being carried out We have to trust they are doing their jobs just as we are. Great statement. I really liked it. The whole book avoids the idealized success in 10 easy steps syndrome and the success now malady that infects so many other programs that are focused on applying biblically shaped justice in our historical moment. I found Ending Human Trafficking a valuable work on a topic that has been dear to my heart for near 20 years. As a Christian minister, I encourage all other Christian ministers and leaders to snatch up a copy, grab a copy. I grabbed a copy, grab a copy, snatch up a copy and work through it. For those who are concerned about human trafficking, whether they're on the front lines or on the sidelines, this paperback will aid you in having a better perspective and thinking through how much you can approach the trouble thoughtfully and thoroughly. I highly recommend the book. My thanks to IVP InterVarsity Press Academic, who sent me a copy used for this preview at my request. They made no demands on me. They offered me no bribes. Rats. Therefore, this analysis is all mine, freely made and freely given. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Share it with others. You can find the print one, as I said. The link is in the description. Share it with others as well. I think you should get the book. And there's the end of my story for the day. All right. The Lord bless everyone. Bye-bye.